Ladies and gentlemen of the Chamber, Representative McCluskey indicated that this bill concerns many people who give service to buildings such as the State Capitol, the LOB, DMVs, Bradley Airport, etc. He also indicated that health care is one of the most important, vital benefits one could have, and that we should be compassionate to those, especially those who are the lowest paid of those workers, with regard to their plight. Compassion, I couldn't agree more. Appreciation for what they do, I could not agree more. Here is my problem with this bill. Representative McCluskey indicated that the very people we're talking about work for private companies. Private companies. Yes, they do work and have contracted to do work for the state of Connecticut. We know their faces, we know their stories, we're friends with many. We see them every day. But they work for private companies. And this particular private company, for one reason or another, found itself in a position where they were no longer able to pay their employees' health insurance. This private company found itself in a position, for one reason or another, where they were no longer able to pay their employees' health insurance. And what this bill says is that we will pay it for them. We will pay the private company so they could pay their employees' health insurance. Is that a precedent? I believe it is. The other day when we debated the budget, we talked about the 58,000, I believe it is now 63,000 Connecticut residents that have lost their jobs in the past year. They work for private companies, companies that decided they did not have enough money to pay those employees their wages or benefits. Private companies who said it is less expensive to do business elsewhere, and therefore we're going to close our doors. 58,000 to 63,000 Connecticut residents who have no health insurance, who have no pensions, who have no benefits. Compassion, you bet we have compassion. We should try to do everything we can to help those people regain employment. But are we in a position as the state of Connecticut to just say to their employer, wait a minute, if you can't pay the benefits, we'll pay for you? Is that the precedent we want to set? When in the history of this state has the state of Connecticut given money to private companies when they have been unable to meet their obligations to their employees? It is a very dangerous precedent indeed. There is no doubt that my heart, my compassion, and anything we can do within our bounds, we should do to help not just the people that are subject to this bill, but every person who got that pink slip, every person who's without a health care. But this is not the way to do it, especially when we here in the state of Connecticut don't have enough money to pay our bills. Right now in the state of California, instead of paychecks, they're giving certificates of IOUs because they are out of money. They cannot even pay their own employees. And yet, by virtue of this bill, we will be paying someone else's employees. I ask you to consider that. Consider that and the entire economic circumstance we find ourselves in as we consider this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.